What's going on, guys? Welcome back to my channel. Hope you guys are having a great and lovely day. So for today's video, we have some pretty exciting things to do. So I have the 3-valve in front of me. It's kind of disassembled, but not really. But let me go ahead and show you guys what we got so far. So here we have the 3-valve. If it looks different, that's because it is a little different. So pretty much I ended up changing the valve covers. Reason being is because we are running the blue Ford Racing valve covers from American Muscles. Originally I was going to go for the black ones, maybe because it was a little cheaper, but I thought it would have looked nice, which I did see some engine bay pictures. I decided to go with the blue ones just because the black ones, although they were nice, they did make the engine bay look like, I guess, more bland, and the blue just pops out a little bit more, and I really like how it looks in this engine bay, especially if you have like more stuff or like that aluminum quarter intake like I do, or the one that I will be putting on later in the future. I do wish that the letterings were a different color. It's more of a, I guess, reflective silver, so if you move with the lighting, it does kind of shine back, not shine, but becomes more noticeable, so you could see it a little bit better. Now originally I was going to record a video of me replacing these valve covers, but I didn't, just because I've been wanting to buy a camera, but I've been recording on my iPhone like I am right now, and I'd be running out of storage, so sometimes I can't really record until I finish editing a video and delete that footage. But besides that, I also, whoever put the last valve cover on, put them on pretty tight, because some of those bolts were on there pretty tight, and when I tried to remove them, they just, honestly, they just stripped off, and some of them were also stripped off from the head. So I had to go to AutoZone and buy some socket extractor, which actually came out in handy because it made it a whole lot easier just to remove those bolts that were on there pretty tight and the ones that were stripped. Originally, oh shit, I almost sit it backwards. Originally, it should take you about 2 hours to replace the valve covers, but in my case, it took me about a whole day. And if I would have recorded, it would have probably taken me even longer. So that's one of the reasons why I didn't record. Now, I did replace the valve covers, mainly because the threads on the holes for the ignition coils itself were pretty much stripped. So even if I put a bolt in there, they would not actually tighten, so the ignition coils would just be in there pretty loose. And I did get a ignition coil check engine light the other day when my check engine light did start flashing, so I did want to replace that, and also to fix the main problem, which was the ignition coil threads. Let me go ahead and show you guys what I mean. So here we have the old valve covers, well, one of them. This is where the bolt for the ignition coil will go, so it could get tightened down. And on some of them, like, yeah, like this one for example, I don't know how well you could see it, but the first couple of threads aren't even there. They're pretty much smooth. The middle is, and then at the very end it's pretty much stripped as well, so the coils wouldn't actually tighten on there. Even a bigger bolt wouldn't work, just because the bolt it had on was already fitting up the holes on the ignition coils itself, so it was better to have the valve cover replaced with the new ones. Today what we're going to be doing though is replacing these connectors, both fuel injectors and ignition coils. I would have made a video separate for them, but like I said, I don't have that much storage in my dang, what's going on? I don't have that much storage in my phone, so I can't record, and they're both pretty much in the same area, so I will just do it in one video. Pretty much if we come over here, initially these clips are supposed to clip on, but this one, as you guys can see, it's pretty much on, and if I just pull on it, it just pops right off. Plug it back in, you guys can see I'm pressing on it, and just comes right off. So pretty much these clips right here end up breaking over time. I don't know how old these might be the original ones, so I don't even blame them, but we're going to be replacing these as well as the ignition coils, which is this one, because this one is on there pretty good and just pops right off, so we have to replace these as well. Originally I was going to just cut them and splice in new connectors, but that was before I knew that you could depin them. I don't know how to depin them. I still have to look into that, so I will be doing it on my own time right now, and then pick up the camera and show you guys pretty much how it's done. These are pretty much the connectors we are going to be using. So it is an 8-pack for ignition coil. Here's the part number if you guys do need to get yourself a pair. I did get them on Amazon, so it should be available for the majority of people. And right next to it we have the fuel injector pigtail connectors, which I believe these are the part numbers as well. It does come in the 8-piece also, so if you're doing a GT, these should be enough to have all 8 of them done, since it is 8 different sets. For the ignition coils, it's pretty much the same thing. We do have these connectors, that do also have to get depinned. For the meantime, however, I do have the battery off just because it made it easier to get to those bolts on the back on the original valve covers, just because the original have, I believe, 2 extra ones in the back. However, these have about 4, I want to say about 4 actual bolts less than the original ones, so it makes it easier and faster to install. Like I said, I do have the battery off, so might as well I'm gonna go ahead and clean this whole area right here, as well as this side right here. I do have a leak in my power steering. I don't know where it's at. I have to fix it. So it is pretty much getting the whole area right here dirty. I am gonna go ahead and clean it, even though it's going to get dirty. But I also want to redo all of this like electrical tape on these wirings, as well as the ones on the coils. So I am going to give it a fair decent clean before I do all that. So I'm gonna go ahead and pretty much figure out how to depin these connectors, depin all of them, and then come back and show you guys or explain to you guys how to do it if you guys don't know already. So hold on tight for just a second. So I did depin one. Only problem is that I broke a clip, but I was able to remove another one without breaking it, so I was able to figure out how to remove it. As far as this guy, I'm going to see if one of the connectors that are already on there has a good locking clip, which will be that red piece that broke off from this one. I'm going to see if I could salvage one or a couple from the connectors are already on there that are still in good condition, so I could have some like spare just in case I break it like this. I'm not sure if it makes a difference or not, but on the clips where the black wire was for the ground, I actually marked it with like a green paint, so I pretty much know where the ground wire was originally. Like I said, don't know if it makes a difference, but just in case it does, I am doing that. As far as this connector, once you remove that plastic clip, it's kind of hard to see, so I'm going to try to explain it to you guys as best as I can. I'm going to try to do one on camera just so you guys could see, but not sure if I could get it. I'm gonna try my best, but we'll see. So they do sell like a specific kit for you to use to do this, but you could just use, I'm using this little small flathead screwdriver that I have right here. Pretty much want to use something like that or similar to that, but pretty much what you do is right on the top part right here, you'll have some clips. I believe they're pointing downwards, so you'll just go in there. Let me just make sure real quick. Yeah, so they're pointing downwards, so you'll pretty much get the screwdriver in there and lift the little plastic clip up that's holding the actual pigtail in place. From there, it'll just pop up. So I'm gonna try to do this right here. But yeah, get it in there nice and deep. Pops right off just like so. Hopefully you guys saw that good. I don't have a good camera, it's just my phone camera, so I can't really get you guys that good of a close-up. So you'll pretty much want to do that to all your clips, as well as the ones that are in the car itself, to remove them. These pigtails are actually pretty useful, so if you ever end up needing a new pigtail wire for your connectors, you could just use these right here. So for right now, I'm going to go ahead and do that. After I'm done with that, I'm pretty much going to clean up the engine bay like I told you guys, and then from there we'll start pretty much putting or adding the new clips onto the connectors itself. I will time lapse pretty much everything that I just said except for me depinning these new connectors. So from here on out, I don't know how much content I'm going to get of time lapse, but I am pretty sure that it's going to be a lot. So I guess, hey, go grab you some snacks, maybe, you know, or a good 40 or something, and just enjoy the show. But this is all just content for you guys. In a minute, you guys will probably be like this guy right here. Kick back, enjoy this time lapse. If you guys are new to the channel and I guess skipped into this part right here, do me a favor, hit the subscribe button. You guys are already here, might as well, right? This is gonna be a lot of work, so let's get it started. Actual ignition coil connectors, it's a little bit different. Initially it'll be pretty much the same thing. You'll have this yellow pretty much lock-in clip right here, which you'll get your flathead screwdriver and just pretty much get it in there and just pop it up. And these tweezers actually help better. So the tweezers are a little bit better because you could get it out in one pull, but you'll have these yellow clips that just pop right off. Once you pop those out, you'll have the clips that you'll just pretty much lift up and then pull the pigtails out. You'll have the actual casing free from the pigtails and ready to go. So let's go ahead and get this time lapse. So it's a new day and there's an airplane passing by right now. But it's been about, I want to say about 2-3 days since we last worked on the 3 valve. I am finished. I did turn it on already and it turned on, you know, it turned on. Just, I had a little wrench light that came on the dash, so I was like, oh man. I did connect the OBD scanner to see what codes were being thrown, since it was having a really rough idle. So I checked the codes and majority of the codes were pretty much from the throttle body. So I did turn off the car and pretty much went under the hood to see what was going on with the throttle body. Coming to the hood, it is pretty bright out, so it might be a little like glary from the chrome pieces right there. But coming under the hood, I pretty much connected everything back the way it was. The only thing I did not connect was this guy right here, which is why we had a rough idle and also all those check engine lights that came out. But we are pretty much done. I did go ahead and put the battery back on. Everything right here is pretty much clean, as well as this area right here and a little bit of that bottom area right here. Not too much, just because I wasn't, you know, trying to go too crazy. I did go ahead and clean pretty much all of this right here and everything under the intake itself. Even though you can't see under there, I did want to pretty much clean it up, make sure it's nice and clean. And then we will be installing the CNL coater intake once we do get the cams, and it does pretty much free up more space here and makes this bottom area more like visible. So cleaning off that area actually will be in handy. Coming over to this side, we do have all the new connectors. You can see we have the new fuel connectors in there. Same wires, just new connectors. Same for these right here. As far as the ignition coils, I didn't want to do it. It was the last thing I want to do, but I did have to cut and pretty much crimp the new connectors in, just because the original pins were a little bit longer than the pins that came in the connectors. So I think the pin housing for the connectors are a little bit shorter than the original connectors that are on the harness itself. However, I did not want to cut any of the harnesses for the ignition coils itself. So what I did was pretty much just replace the ones that needed replacing. For example, this connector right here is still pretty much the original one. Since the clips were still good, there was no need to replace them. And like I said, I didn't want to cut them, so I just left them on there. For the ignition coils, I just ended up cutting or having to cut about 2 or 3 of them, so it's not too bad. After I did connect that sensor right there, I started the car back up and it started running fine for about 5 minutes, and then it did start getting a rough idle again. Wasn't too sure what it was. Came over to the engine bay to see what was going on and did hear a hissing sound coming from around this area right here. Covered my hand around there and just felt like kind of like air pressure shooting up, which I kind of knew was going to happen because I did end up breaking this guy here. I'm not too sure, but I believe this guy is still the original piece. I might be wrong, but it might still be the original piece. So originally this green clip that pretty much holds it on there, or pretty much locks it on, was broken prior to me removing it. So it was still functional, it just didn't lock on. Since it has been working this whole time, I didn't think it was going to be a problem. Went ahead and removed it, and when I was putting everything back together, I pretty much put that piece back on. And since I didn't hear it clip because the green clip is broken, I kind of just like snugged on it to see if it was under good, and it ended up breaking on me. Let me show you guys. All right, so we put it out. There you go. See, that green piece actually ended up breaking off. So the seal that is originally there pretty much wasn't working no more. And we come over here, take this off. You could pretty much see how it's pretty much broken, and even right here on the actual pipe or hose itself, it's also broken and it's pretty dirty, which wasn't too much of a big deal. I just went ahead and looked up the piece on Google itself. I wasn't too sure what it's called, but it is going from the valve cover to the throttle body. I'm guessing it was a valve to throttle body hose. I did have a couple selections. This one right here is a Motorcraft brand, so it is good. I usually like to go OEM if it's stuff that isn't like improving performance or stuff like that. So ideally this part should work. I'm gonna go ahead and install it, then I'll turn on the camera. I'll turn on the car. I won't be recording it because I don't want to risk breaking it again, so I will be using both hands. So I did go ahead and install it. Before I did turn the car on though, I did want to pretty much come in here and show you guys. I did go ahead and rewire pretty much every single wire right here, just because the ones that were already on there were pretty much peeling off or coming off, and it was all filled with grease and pretty much all nasty. So I did go ahead and do all of these right here. You guys can see it's pretty much fresh. Don't know how well you can see it, but same with those wires right there, and even the small wires like the ones coming up to here, and all the ones that are like pretty much right here. So now I guess let's go ahead and turn on the car. It should just pretty much turn on fine, so let's just cross our fingers and hope it does. Moment of truth. It's so damn hot in here, man. But let's give this car a turn on. Let's see if it turns on. There you go. Idle seems fine, nothing wrong with it. Check engine light is on. That's due to our O2 sensors not being pretty much installed. And I don't see any wrench light on, so it should be cool. It is kind of loud. Don't know how well you guys can hear me. It is sounding pretty fine, like pretty natural as far as the exhaust notes and whatnot. Now coming over to the engine, it's running perfectly fine. Nice and quiet. Like obviously you could hear it because it's a big old V8 and it's right in front of me, but it's nice and quiet, and it's actually shaking way less now that I did replace the valve covers, giving the ignition coils like something to actually grab onto, and also replacing all these connectors that were actually loose. But that's pretty much gonna be it for today's video, guys. I'm pretty much done with the whole installation process. The only thing I do have to install is my oh lord, I forgot what it's called, my little upper tower brace or strut tower brace. But I will just do that off camera just because it's not really nothing too difficult. I'm gonna go ahead and end off the video here. If you guys did enjoy it, remember, do me a favor, hit that subscribe button. I really appreciate it. It really helps me out. But yeah, hope you guys enjoyed. With that being said, I'll catch you guys in the next video. Peace.